Welcome to another episode of Michelle Halloween. I'm Michelle Halloween, but during the first part of the year, I'm like, hey, Michelle, the fucking band promoter, or whatever the fuck she is. I don't know. I just like sharing bands and talented musicians who stand out to me and share them with my following, who, in a community of horror and Halloween freaks, I mean, we love death metal, we love punk, we love it all. So, I mean, there's like country motherfuckers in the Halloween and horror community. So today with us, we have Vince, also known as Diaper Ass.
God damn it.
And Shar Clay of Death File Red, 2 of the 5 members of, you guys are new, but I feel like one of my very first question was, I saw Shar soloing, and then I see Death File Red, but I've also seen Shar in other bands. How did you guys come together? And where did you meet and then decide, hey, let's make Death File Red? And then tell me about the birth of the band.
Your Tinder.
Yeah. Shar over here, and I was like, damn. No, it was over Facebook. I put out like a little post. I was like, is anybody looking for a grindcore vocalist? And then Shar hit me up, and Shar was already jamming with Charlie for like a day or so.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually, you joined the same day I joined with Charlie.
Oh yeah, that's true. We all met on the same day, I guess. Yeah.
Like within hours.
And this is why people are like, fuck social media, it's so bad for people. How else did people record music and form bands during the fucking pandemic? And Facebook of all places. I thought it was like, besides Instagram, Bandcamp, did you send dick pics? And is that how you measured if Shar was going to be appropriate for Death File Red?
Always. I mean, that's what it encompasses the band's energy, I feel like, in a way.
Yeah.
It's a good way to filter out people that I don't think are going to last,
You can sense it through a direct message. I'm a firm believer of that. So, Shar, you play guitars and you also do vocal. I've been watching a few YouTube videos of you guys. You're so calm and collected in all of your videos and your shows with Death File Red, whereas elsewhere you're all over the place. What's up with that? Do you do vocals in any of the new songs?
Oh no. That's all Vince. That's all his doing. Well, my solos are they're just like small projects, something that I just want to put out and like it's kind of like in the moment, it's like no one's gonna do vocals, but we're all in like side projects. Like Charlie's in a badass band called Bruca. They're killing it, and our other guitarist is in The Occulted, which is another sick ass band, dude. And so we're always doing like side projects. We're always doing something different other than Death File Red.
You guys make me feel like a young punk again. And I love it because I'm listening to you and you're so like soft spoken. You're so like, but, like you're just like, but then on stage it's fascinating what you do with your voice. And I love the way you headbang. It's just so natural. It's so beautiful. What shampoo do you use? Do you use shampoo? Is that a question any of female fucking podcasters ask? Stupid questions like, what shampoo do you use, groupie?
I use like this $5 shampoo that I found at HEB. I need to upgrade my shampoo because like my hair is getting longer.
Dude.
And otherwise it's just gonna be splitting like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't even know what shampoo to. Maybe I can bring my shampoo out. Hold on.
You should. I want to see your shampoo. This is a good ice-breaking question. We need to talk about. It just made me realize I need to look up what kind of shampoo did Peter Still use for his,
I know, right?
I need long and luscious hair, dude.
Yeah, like what did he use? Some natural. Oh fuck yeah! Yep.
It's big. I like the suds.
No. Okay, so let's talk about when you guys were younger. Who were your influences and why deathcore, crust punk? I haven't heard that since 1988. Thank you for bringing that back to me. Who were your influences? I'll start with you, Shar. Go ahead. So yeah, who are your hardest influences? Like, let's say, I know you had mentioned Metallica.
Yeah.
So who's harder than Metallica? Because you're way harder than they ever were.
Yeah. Well, like when I was a kid, I started, you start off like anybody, you start listening to like Metallica or whatever, and then you get like you find heavier bands, like I remember in 8th grade, like my friends and I were like talking about how great Metallica were. This was like in 8th grade, and like this was like the time when you're trying to out heavy your friends. Say you're like, "Hey, bro, Megadeth," and then my friend was like, "Oh yeah, like you want to play that game? Then go home and fucking listen to Dying Fetus." And like I went home and listened to it, and at first I was like, "Oh, there's no way I can never listen to this. This is too heavy." But after a while, like you get intrigued by it, and you go down the rabbit hole. And when next thing you know, you're listening to Dying Fetus, and then you're listening to Carcass, and that's not enough. So you go like you try to go heavier, and I eventually just stumbled upon like all the classics like Suffocation, Cannibal Corpse, and then Obituary, Cancer, and that for this band specifically, like we listen to a lot of that Revival, OSDM.
I love it.
The Altar and like Sangre Sigupod, Frozen Soul. I mean, the list.
These again bands I haven't heard in so. Actually, no, I can't say that. I had interviewed a witch last year. She's into metal, and it just felt good to go. Oh, okay, I wasn't so invalid because I really thought something was wrong with me. Because I understand that rabbit hole that you were referring to. There's something about it that it's intriguing, and you can't stop thinking about it. So you have to go back and kind of like figure it out, and then you have this appreciation for it, and then you can't get it out of your head, and the rest is history. What about you? And I'll never forget the first time I played I Come Blood for
They're actually playing like Coyote Ugly not too long ago.
Yeah. And what about you, Vince? Who were your earliest who were your heaviest influences?
So I started out like back in 8th grade. I listened to like a lot of like deathcore and Mastodon. And then as I got like a little bit older, like I stumbled upon like Converge, and that was like my big band that I like was like, okay, I'm probably going to be a metalhead for the rest of my life.
Yes.
So from there, I mean, I was into like a lot of like early like 90s metalcore and grindcore.
Love it.
Yeah,
so fucking dope. I just recently saw a video because I want to talk about your shows. You guys started a tour. You already toured. It's like, when did you guys start talking? Early 2001 or late 2000 or 2020?
2021.
Yeah,
May actually.
Yeah, May.
We're fairly new.
Have we been a band for a year? What day?
May 27th.
Oh shit! Did you hear that?
May 27th. Yeah.
Damn.
It was our very first practice.
And you've already opened for Immolation?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's been kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Oh my god, this is kind of like Haunt Me. That's a post-punk band that I interviewed recently, and same thing. Early 2021, background in music, quite young, killing it on the post-punk scene. Just fucking blew up, and they're playing for Christian Death, and I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
So 2021, it's like a perfect time for you guys. Just nailed it on the wall. So it's not even it's barely been a year. Let's just say a year, coming up on a year. Yeah. And you've opened up for Immolation. I'm looking at the videos of the shows, and I'm just like riled up. I just saw a video the other day of mosh pit. Bitches had pillows. And I'm like, I'm 40 in my 40s now. I want to do that. But then I'm like, damn, that pillow would still hurt. And I can't but you know what? Fuck it. If I fall, at least I won't break a hip because I'll put the pillow. But you know what I mean? Yeah, you don't know what I mean yet. No. But let's talk about those first few shows. What did it feel like? What was the energy of the crowd like when you first fucking made their ears bleed? What happened?
Our first show, we opened for The Occulted and Manifest Insanity and Wolf Wizard. Yeah. That was like a good starting off show for us. Mm-hmm. And then every show after that for like, I don't know, 2, 3 months, 4 months maybe, is like nobody there.
Oh, that happened? No way.
Yeah, one show we literally played like for the bar staff, and that was an interesting experience. Not Charlie, Jacob. It was whenever Jacob.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, we played some really quiet venues, man.
Yeah.
Like, what does that feel like? Do you put the same energy into it as you would, with a huge crowd?
Yeah, we do.
It's death metal,
and people like bookers, like the bookers still gonna remember us,
True. What kind of bars were these? Are they typical? Did they typically play or allow bands like you, or was it? I'm sorry, I'm from California originally. I'm up in the PNW now, so I'm definitely going to talk shit about Texas.
I mean,
not that where I lived was perfect either. I'm just saying, but Texas, I just see you guys rolling up to some dusty, like, cowboy bar or some shit, and the dudes with the from the movies. What, like, do you at least get free drinks or cocktail or food? Like,
we sometimes get like drink tickets, sometimes, not always. The most, like, the closest we've ever gotten to like the authentic Texan bar that is, where like bikers and shit might roll into is like Ragnar's maybe.
Oh yeah.
But like, Austin's not much different from being like in California.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. Because again, I was talking to a few that haunt me is from Austin, and he's like, "Oh no, it's normal here."
Yeah, it is.
I'm sorry, I have to still do it.
Yeah, that's what made us want to move to Austin.
Oh, okay. So you weren't from. We'll get into that here in a little bit. So you're not from Austin. Like, you weren't born and raised in Austin.
I don't think anybody in the band is.
I mean, I kind of sort of was, because I'm from San Antonio. It's like
40
outside, and like in the early 2000s, like my family and I used to drive up to Austin just like on a regular weekday before it got like what it is now. Like crazy traffic. So like I kind of saw Austin when I was growing up as a kid.
Okay. And where are you from, Diaper?
I was born in Houston, but I moved around a lot growing up because my mother was a truck driver.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Your mom was a truck driver?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shar's kind of like, damn. I'm actually really fascinated by truck stops now, because I'm like, I might get into this life, because the coffee is phenomenal. It kept me awake. This shit. I was like, and there was no crash. I was like, I could do this. And the artwork for Death File Red, that's you, Vince, right? Who's the artist?
The artist is Charlie, actually. Yeah,
it's Charlie. Okay. Oh, there. Okay, Charlie. Sorry, I knew that. I did my research.
We talked about the artwork a lot, and there was like some dudes that we wanted to hire that kind of did that style. But at the time, we didn't quite have the budget for it. So Charlie was like, okay, I'll cut out all this stuff from like medical textbooks and shit and just slap it on a printer.
Yeah, it actually came out like,
and it came out really well.
Yeah, we all looked at Charlie like, damn, dude, you got like an eye for this. So
yeah, and he did the t-shirt designs too.
Yeah. Charlie's like a big backbone to the band, dude.
Exactly.
When I talk to bands, it's the front person. I always like getting into like the nitty gritty of how the process works to illuminate it for folks.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just, we're in a bus rolling in, piss ass drunk, fuck it. It's not all Motley Crue and all that dumb shit that you see in the films. Yeah. But it's interesting who am I talking to? And then I also saw that you have a booking agent and press work. So who does most of, you say he's the backbone, like, what else does he do?
So he has a degree in computer engineering.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like, he built our website and like our link tree and all that other shit. So he handled a lot of that like press stuff and like a lot of our social media. Like we kind of share some of the social media responsibilities. You know, we're all logged into like the Facebook and Instagram and stuff. Yeah. So, you know, we'll get to it whenever like we see something immediately. But yeah, as far as like those nitty gritty things, as far as like getting the website, how it looks and all that other shit, that's pretty much all Charlie. Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty neat. It's so funny when I'm like, I hear, you know, the different occupations of the band members. What do you do in your daytime? Is it full-time music for either one of you yet?
We wish.
Dude, yeah.
Like,
Well,
like we'll get there, guys. We'll get there.
We'll get
what do you do, Vince, for your day job?
I build speaker enclosures for like cars and trucks and shit like that.
See, that's not a bad gig though.
It's not bad, but like it's for a really small company and the pay gets kind of weird sometimes. So like it, you know, you take it as it comes.
Yeah. It'd be kind of neat. Do you help set up with the setups of stages and shit like that? And I don't know what I'm talking about. I try to sound smart on the back end.
I have built some equipment here and there. Like I built a little cab for one of my other bands.
It actually sounds nice too.
It sounds nice. Yeah, it does. I'm working on a pedal board right now. So, you know.
Neat. And what about you, Shar? What do you do for your day job? The bill paying thing. Barely pays the bills these days.
Well, I'm a contract worker as an AV tech. And then since it's only contract, like my hours aren't like, you know, consistent. So I work in a consignment clothing store and
okay.
Clothes, so retail.
Say nothing wrong. Again, I just like occupations because most people don't realize they think it's all easy and glamorous, and you know, the bands aren't making money. Your artists don't make the money unless, you know, you sign with a huge label. And then what does that do? That's a good question. That's one I always like to ask bands too. I just asked another band the other day, how do you feel about labels? Is it something that you want to pursue, or do you want to remain independent?
I mean, we're in the middle of talking about that right now.
Yeah, we are. Like,
it's just like classified?
Well, no, it's not classified.
Okay.
I mean, like each of us kind of have like mixed feelings about it. I feel like definitely the goal at some point would be to get signed by like a larger label. But I mean, that's any band, really.
Yeah. We like our biggest thing is like, can that label provide touring? Like, as far as like recording goes, we can do that. You know, he knows how to record music. I know how to record music. You know, like that's fine. You know, there's a lot of great producers in our town that, you know, we feel comfortable with working for. But our biggest priority is like, it would just depend on the record label. If they can provide, you know, touring, then for sure. But if that means that we just have to do it, then we'll stick independent. That's kind of how like what the conversation's going on right now.
And a lot of like larger labels kind of sign you on as like contract work. Yeah. So they'll own, you know, pretty much 100% of the rights and everything. Like you're making an album for them rather than you as an artist just making an album because you want to.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's where I wonder, like, what are the compromises? At what point do you go, you know what, this isn't for me? You know, I'm always interested in like, has any band ever told a label no? Have you been approached by any since the beginning of Just Fire Red?
Not yet.
No, we haven't been hit up, and that's fine. I mean, we're still such a young band. There's so much that we need to do, you know, as a band before we even consider that option.
Okay.
But I mean, right now, I mean, we're just focusing on just locking down Texas because Texas got such a great death metal scene, and figured, you know, if we get something going regionally, someone will come knocking.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Now you're mentioning the big death metal scene in Texas. Yeah, I can imagine. Now, my mind and what I grew up with, I always ask these questions based on personal experience. Have you dealt with any bullshit? Well, especially I'll get back into like both of your past here in a little bit, but have you dealt with any adversity being, okay, your guitarist is a black dude. Do you deal with any bullshit in the scene like I would have at, a Pantera show in 1993 or something?
Damn.
Have you dealt with any bullshit in that giant, death metal scene in Texas?
Dude, not now. Like not during the not when I'm in the band, but definitely in the past, like as a kid growing up, being a minority and listening to metal, there's a lot of people who go like, you don't listen to that, dude. Name 5, insert mainstream band. Name 5 songs off that band, and you name them 10, and keep going. But as far as this band goes, nothing weird. Yeah,
that's good, and that's actually encouraging because it is 2021 or 22. Fuck, I'm a whole year behind. It is. I love. Again, we were talking earlier about how it's a lot easier to get the visibility thanks to social media. I mean, things were definitely a lot different in the early 2000s and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then really quick, Deathfly Red's best mosh pit. I want to know, you've had the empty bar, so those were the interesting shows. How are your pits when they actually get going, even if it is just that one dude?
There's one guy that
crazy.
Remember?
Yeah,
break dance.
That was that one dude who broke dance at our first show. That was awesome. I give that a 10 out of 10.
And then the tunnel show.
And the tunnel show had a decent mosh pit, but it was kind of spread out.
Yeah.
And then whenever we played at White Swan in Houston.
Oh yeah, that did happen, didn't it?
Yeah, that one was also a good one. I got in the mosh pit for that during the set. So.
Did you just jump off stage and just go?
Yeah, he's good at doing it. Like we'll be playing. He definitely can get the crowd like moving,
That was my next thing. How do you get the crowd pumped? And what was the most interesting thing you've had thrown at you so far?
So as far as like getting the crowd pumped, like it's being a death metal band, it's
not hard.
It actually quite the opposite. It's really hard. It depends.
Really?
Oh yeah. If you're a newer band, like, and people don't know your shit, they don't.
Yeah.
Like they kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that. Oh, because I was the only one.
Dude, yeah, like death metal here, it seems like. I mean, death metal in general is such a small crowd. Everyone knows each other, but in Texas alone, it just kind of seems like either you're in the circle, you know what I mean? Like Stabbing knows Flesh Rot, and Flesh Rot probably knows Combat, you know what I mean? Like, or like if you're new, like it just seems like those are the top tier death metal, and you're starting out, you're down here. So there's that big gap of trying to get up there, that there's a lot of bands that you have to play with, and a lot of like non-death metal shows you have to play with in order for you to join that circle.
Oh, what's that like? Like, it was like the time I saw Ministry, but it was opened up by Chelsea Wolfe. To me, it was great, but differences. So have you opened up for any like non-metal? What have you opened up for that was like not the same?
I mean, like early in our shows, whenever we first started playing out, we got on a lot of like weird bills. So, like some like really
kind of like dad
rock bands. Some like there was like the redneck man.
You redneck man.
Yeah. Shar was like, yeah, I'm gonna go get a burrito. And then some like we've opened up for like some metalcore bands that were kind of like like third wave kind of bands. I don't know. We've opened up for a lot of bands.
We played with a lot of Texas bands, and there is there was a good long while for us where when we started out, again, you know, like he's coming from Houston, you know, and Charlie's coming from Minnesota, right?
Oh shit.
And, yeah, and I'm coming back from New York. I stopped living in Austin for a little while, so we were all out of touch with the scene. So when we started, there was a long period of months of us just kind of circling around trying to find that scene. Until like recently, now we kind of locked it down. You know,
Okay.
we found
it's been a whole process. So to me, it's like a child. You planted the seed, you make contact, you're doing the work, you're building up something, you're building up the reputation. And this is what I love about independent music, because it's something that has nothing but passion and art, you know, with it. It's not all about, oh, I just want to get that record deal and get a movie made about me. And I mean, that'd be cool too, but
but
you know what I mean? I don't know. I just love the story. And to me, that's pure art and that's pure music, and it means something.
It's definitely the end of the day, you know, like,
and I just look at it and I'm looking at like, oh, you know, who writes their own music in these mainstream bands? There's just no, to me, it's not that it's talentless. It's just prepackaged and processed and like a cash grab. You know, I see so many artists suppressed. I'm like, well, that's unfortunate. One of my, I talk about them all the time. I swore I wasn't going to do it today. I'm not going to do it. Calm down, Michelle. You're not going to talk about them. It was just, you know, a tragic tale of a band that was really there. And then, you know, like I said, I like the intimate experience, me personally, and a lot of my introverted friends do. We like the backyard shows, the garage type shows, you know, playing in a fucking Denny's.
Yeah.
About that in Orange County, California. Yeah, or they fucking, that was dope. I was like, I wish I was there for that.
Bro, a Denny's show.
Oh man, it's been so long since I've done metal. So let's talk about the early 2000s. You know, I was that kind of mom. I was a young mom. Again, I'm dating myself, who had her son listening to things like Linkin Park and System of a Down and things like that. You know, he was 2 years old singing, you know, my self-righteous suicide in front of his grandparents, and I felt like a great mom. I really did. I was proud of him. But you know, I tried to introduce my kids to the more underground scene, but they weren't into it. It was too extreme for them. So I'm always fascinated by, you know, people who are younger than me, and especially those people of color. You know, Shar, I'm going to put the spotlight on you just a little bit more at the moment. Your solo acts, I mean, with your solo albums, Bloodbath, Denied Workhorse, Black Jerusalem, which I was listening to Revelation earlier, I kept hitting repeat, like, this is it. 7 years of experience. You've even played, you mentioned that you lived in New York, you've played in the UK and played at awesome places like the Cavern Club. I want to know who introduced you and your upbringing. Was your family into metal? Like, what was your upbringing like? Mine was strictly like fucking, I wasn't even allowed to listen to Prince.
Whoa, man.
Yeah, it was too sexual, you know? So I didn't discover metal until high school. And again, I went down that rabbit hole. So I love hearing the stories of how young Black people got their start, especially, you know, growing up Black and anywhere at this point. Like, what was it like? Am I putting him on the spot too much? Do you get asked this all the time?
I welcome it, man. I welcome it.
It's nice to talk about, to me. You know, for once, it's really refreshing.
Yeah, for sure. No, like my parents were definitely listening to Prince for sure. They they love Prince. But like I got into it through skateboarding because I hadn't seen my cousin. I got into it when I was like, must have been 10 back in 2004, and I hadn't seen my cousin in like a long time. He was like my best friend. That was my almost essentially like my brother, but I hadn't seen him in a long time. It was like months. And I think his family moved out of town or something, and then he moved back, or I don't know. But he just showed up at my doorstep one day, and he completely changed. Like he was wearing like skinnier jeans and like you know, like a skate, like a skull, and it says Zero, like the skating brand.
Oh yeah.
He was just like, "You got a skateboard?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "But I don't really use it." And he was just like, "Go get it." And he showed me skate videos that day, and then he showed me Slipknot around that time. And I don't know. It was one of those things where it was just like, dude, like I shouldn't be listening to this, you know, but I gotta, you know. And, but it was not bought through my parents. I have to give my cousin. I'm gonna give my cousin on that one, dude.
That's awesome. Now, how did your parents respond to it?
They were very supportive.
That's no, that's great. I hear that a lot. That's fucking awesome.
I didn't tell them for a long time though.
Oh no, you're not supposed to, and don't show them this video. But like, you never give them credit, you know. But,
yeah, I didn't tell for a long time.
That's dope. That's really, because I was gonna say you've been playing for quite some time. Clearly, you had the support, because you don't just learn guitar the way you play, you know, in a year or two. Unless, I mean, that's possible. I mean, it's happened, right? I don't know. But the way you play is super, super neat. Like, I don't think there is, again, when I listen to different bands, I always find a commonality. There is something different about the way you play, and I cannot put my fingers on it because I'm not versed in instruments, but the way you play it's not only the way you play, I love the way you do your hands. I'm not going to mock it. But the way you sound too is there's this uniqueness to it, and I can't point it out. But one thing I did notice is that you do talk about how you're grateful for your creativity, that you were given this, you know, beautiful talent, and you're grateful for it. You know, I don't hear that a lot, that I'm grateful the fact that I'm a talented, creative person.
Oh, well, most of it, the top secret to playing that way is to listen to Kerry King from Slayer.
Very, very, very true. Okay. I mean, again,
I listened to like when I was a kid, like Jimi Hendrix was like the main man, and Slayer, man, those were like kind of like the two guitar players that I really just cared about a lot. You know?
The inspiration. Now, what about Slayer? How many times have you seen Slayer live?
I've seen Slayer twice.
Okay. That's a good amount of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shar, have you seen him?
Just one time, unfortunately.
Why? What happened? Did that one time? I mean, of course, one is never enough. It's potato chips. But
enough, yeah.
What happened that one time? Did you forget, lose a memory, or you're just like, no, I wanted to see him a lot. That one time just wasn't enough.
Yeah, no, I definitely wanted to see him like way more times. I was living in Albuquerque at the time. And no bands like go through there, man. Sometimes like
dude, that's true. You never see that.
Like they do, but it's like it's hard to explain. It's kind of like in order for you to see like a really big band like Slayer, you have to watch a lot of other bands that you don't really care about. You know, like there's the Mayhem Festival that they were throwing.
Yeah, I saw them at the Rockstar Energy Festival.
Bands, the other bands are just
a lot of the bands are like kind of whatever.
Yeah.
I peed my pants to stay right in the front. 10 hours I had to stand there because I wanted to see The Cure. I don't fuck with music festivals anymore. You know, because I had to pee myself. I had to see The Cure. I didn't know if I was 10 hours. I was at that festival. I mean, there was a lot of great fucking bands though, so at least I was lucky in that sense. But it was like, and then I didn't know Robert Smith got fat either. So when he came out, I was like, my mom's on stage.
It's okay. I pee myself all the time.
So, I just wouldn't lose my spot, but now I just pee on the side of her, which is very comforting when you're on tour. I think that it was very good for social distancing. Just pee on the side of the freeway. I have the bladder of a whatever. So yeah, I don't fuck with music festivals anymore because I don't have continence. Is that what that means? I think I am, actually. I think I'm a little incontinent. You talk about pain and adversity, the experience that you've had with racism. Let's talk about that just a little bit. What have you gone through that, let's say, inspire Black Jerusalem?
Just like I think most of the time, like the reason why we all play heavier music, like Vince, I'm sure Charlie, I mean, anyone who's into heavy music goes through, have some sort of background, some sort of pain, not, I wouldn't say not everyone, I don't speak on the whole behalf of, metalheads, but, there is, music does accommodate that. And as, I've always been kind of like a quiet, shy kid, and I've never really had like the voice, never really had like a voice growing up. So metal was always just, that's why it gravitated towards me. But yeah, growing up dealing with racism, especially like in the South, and then that still carries on. Metal is a really good outlet to release any kind of inner angst that you have, and I just, except for just like, looking at like racism or whatever and just dwelling in it and just saying, this fucking sucks.
It's weird how, like, it's just not weird, but how inspiring it is when we are dwelling in it, because we have to. It's not like we have a choice.
Yeah.
We have to dwell. We were forced. And again, the beautiful thing is, you said you gravitated towards this particular genre of music. And I love the fact, because now you were a shy, quiet kid. Now you're out there fucking. Oh, you're heard. And what about you, Vince? Like, let's talk a little bit about your pain, your anger, and things like that. Of course, I don't want to trigger any PTSD or anything. So, but like, what in your past? Yeah, something light. What happened that made you gravitate towards such heavy stuff?
I was partially raised on it a bit. So it was something that kind of always felt a little bit natural for me. But like going into my teenage years and all that other stuff, like I've dealt with like quite a bit of depression and shit like that. Just general mental health. So it was very much about me feeling less alienated from everybody else around me, because a lot of people just don't share like my experiences, especially since I've had a bit of a different upbringing from a lot of people. So just dealing with that. So that's
home.
Yeah.
Family. And so what are your guys' like, what's it like? Let's say you guys are all piled in a van. Like, let's talk about your energy together. Do you guys bicker? Do you fight?
Nobody's safe.
Do you take shits and leave the door open? Let's talk about what the energy is like when you guys are all together.
That's all we ever do. We don't shut up.
Yeah,
it goes on for hours. We blow the fuck out of each other.
But also, like, on a more serious note, it's like I consider all the rest of those guys, Vince, Charlie, Zenn, Fernando, I consider them my brothers. I grew up not having a brother, so like having those.
I'm an only child.
Yeah. So we text each other every day.
Yeah, we text like like girls, really.
Yeah.
Do you smile and you're like, do you live alone? Do you have partners? Like, who are you talking to?
Oh
yeah. We like, even though we do like give each other a hard time, it's all kind of out of love, man.
Yeah, of course.
That's what makes this band like if you see a lot of like brother bands for a long time, like I always thought like, dude, brother bands are always really great because they know each other, you know, there's that bond. So I think that's what kind of makes this band kind of strong, is because it's also just a friendship, you know. It's just,
we got really lucky with like how we were able to all find each other and how we're able to get along so well.
Yeah.
Now, did you not have that with any other bands, Shar? Because you guys have both been in different bands. Let's talk about that. Like, did you ever have a band like where you're like, fuck these dudes? You don't have to say names, because I know that sometimes it's just like, I want to know how fucking badass metal dudes deal with that asshole that you just don't want to fucking play with anymore. Have you had any of those experiences?
Yeah, Vince says for sure, dude.
I definitely have. It's you know, it makes things a little bit harder as far as being motivated at all. But yeah, no, like this band in particular has been very unique for me in the sense that like everybody just gets along so well and the energy is just so good and upbeat all the time. Like it's definitely improved all of our like mental health as far as
good.
Like, like it's like this band's pretty therapeutic in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You both look so refreshed and cool and just chill, and I love it. You know, nobody's stressed. I really love that. So what's next for 2022? Not at the moment.
Yeah. We're writing. We got quite a few new songs. But we're gonna look at recording an EP in the studio at some point. But right now we're working up the budget for it.
Love it. And how are you dealing with that Bandcamp merch sales? How can Michelle Halloween help get you guys some money to record that album?
Just buy our stuff, I guess. Yeah.
Not doing any like Kickstarter or no, because I didn't see anything. Not Kickstarter, GoFundMe or anything like that.
But no, really, we haven't really looked at doing like a Kickstarter or anything like that for it.
No. Yeah,
because we do pretty okay at shows now.
Oh, good.
We do better than I ever thought we would. Honestly, like,
dude. Like, I don't know. Like one day we're just like, hey, let's make shirts, and we did, and it's been selling.
Do you guys have any upcoming shows you'd like to talk about?
Always.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the next. Let's see, it's not summer yet. It's still mid-April. What do you guys have from now until June, let's say?
Necrotic Wasteland, dude.
You're playing Wasteland?
No, Necrotic Wasteland.
Yeah.
With Malevolent Creation.
Yeah, we're going to be opening for Malevolent Creation.
That's a big one. That's a pretty big one.
Wow. When is this in May, right?
Yeah.
And then we have one with our homies, Deocculted and Cathexis. Cathexis, dude.
Yeah, Cathexis. That was whenever I first moved over to Austin, like my first show being in Austin was seeing Cathexis and Flesh Order.
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah, that's right. In Buffalo.
Yeah, God. Charlie.
Damn it, dude. Cathexis is so sick, man.
I'm gonna have to put them up on here too.
And Deocculted too. Those are our buddies, man. Them, Cathexis, Manifest Insanity, us, Flesh Order, we're all kind of just holding it down to death metal in Austin. So it's always great to play shows with those dudes.
Love it. Another good energy. I like circles. It's a nice circle.
Yeah.
Okay. I admire and hail you for I can't even write when I'm stoned. I admire and hail you for when you stated high production and technical concepts are out the window when it comes to this dark and yet beautiful, unique sound. That's really punk, okay? Because I'm so last minute. I'm so like, do I have to use a computer? Can't I just write on a pen and paper? Do I have to do this on my phone? Can't I use a camera? You know what I mean? But to me, it's just like, yeah, I'm enjoying the editing and the technical stuff, but I love the fact that you're like, we're not worried about that. We're just doing it kind of old school and it's working. Like in a sense, it's kind of like a dream come true, or like, one of those visions. I don't know. Have you had that vision where it's like, I don't want to have to I just want it to be this organic band and just put it out there and it be successful? Because you guys are doing quite well.
We just want to be as we would just want to get away with being as irresponsible as much as possible.
Yes. What is it going to be after that? You know, nobody wants no damn responsibilities. I don't. Who wants to do that?
Yeah. I mean, the band stays professional, in other aspects, but as far as sonically wise, there's just so much music out there, and there's so many new genres coming out, and sometimes it's just fun to be in a band where you just throw all that out the window and just go,
yes.
Yeah.
No rules. I missed that. Fuck the rules. All right. So that'll do it for today. For those of you watching, make sure that you follow and buy shit so they can start making. I love a vinyl. And honestly, the cassette thing has been a big deal lately too. Like cassettes is a thing again. And
yeah. We were thinking about doing some cassettes at some point.
Yeah.
It'd be so dope. And I heard they're still cheap to make. So like still quite inexpensive. So before everyone else gets on that bandwagon, you heard it on Michelle Halloween. Like not first, 15th. Oh my God. Vince and Shar, thank you both so much for coming on and talking with me about all things Death File Red and Shar and diaper rashes.